longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
All right. Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, locked and loaded for another episode. What are we, 384? I know I keep giving you guys the countdown each and every week. That means we're 16 episodes. What is that, about 4 months away from episode number 400. We're going to be pulling out all the stops for that one because, why? Well, just because we want to. We're going to create something magic for episode number 400, whether it needs to be or not. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us today. Past couple of weeks, we've been cramming some epic guests into the shows. I don't know. I'm just looking back at our list, and it's going to get even thicker here in the next couple of weeks with the month of May upon us. Me heading to the Indy GP this weekend. This week, we've got a couple of big winners on the show. A good friend, Napa Ron Capps, not Top Fuel winner, Funny Car winner for NHRA on the weekend for my good friends at Don Schumacher Racing. He is going to be on the line. Anytime you got Ron Capps on the show, you never know what is going to happen. He's going to be on in hour number 1. Then we've got my General Tire teammate CJ Hutchins taking the big Best in the Desert win this weekend at the Silver State 300. He'll be calling in to tell us all about how those General Tire grabbers got him to the finish line in first place. And then in hour number 2, we've got another good friend of mine. It's been probably been a couple of years since she's been on the show, but one of the big faces of Monster Jam, Cynthia Gauthier, she is calling in. She's got Monster Jam World Finals this weekend, and not only is she racing and doing freestyle, she's also in this brand new event called High Jump. Yes, she sends it big enough that Monster Jam, out of all their roster of athletes, decided they were going to put Little Miss Cynthia in the high jump competition. So should be fun catching up with her, talking monster trucks. And not only that, we got power rankings this week. I'll be holding those down solo. Chris Leone, he's going to Indy GP for me, so with me. So he's got a lot to catch up on. And Tiffany Stone will be on with her report. So I don't know. We got a lot to talk about. Hang tight. It's going to be one hell of a ride right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Oh, man, that was a hell of a ride. Go check out mymedic.com for the best first aid kits on the planet and save 15% with discount code Jim Beaver. Again, mymedic.com, discount code Jim Beaver, and save 15%. It's cheaper than a funeral.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm going to start out this show a little bit different today. Normally, this is kind of where I talk about what I've been doing in my opening monologue, and I don't know, it's a monologue, whatever we want to call this opening segment, but it's kind of where I just go and talk about everything that I've been doing and up to, and my opinions on things, and you never quite know where the segment's going to go. But the one thing I kind of realized in doing this, and we're 8 years into this show? We're almost episode number 400 weekly, but we've done well over 400 episodes, on-site at remotes and things like that over the years. And, the funny thing is I've got, we just did our quarterly report, and I've got, I can't even remember, probably close to 400,000 social media followers, right? And then, radio listeners, I don't know where we're at. It's crazy with national syndication and all the online numbers and all that. You start tallying it up, and it's a lot of people weekly, right? And, the funny thing is you guys really, you have the the public-facing persona of me, but nobody really knows me, right? I've got a private, social media account, Facebook account under an alias, and I've got, about 100 close friends and things like that. And even there, I'm pretty guarded, and it got me thinking, and the reason why this all comes up is 6 years ago today, which is, a couple of years into this radio show and things like that. But, this is, it's just crazy how social media has changed the way people, present themselves. So, and this is not me because I've had time to process it, but my family, we had my wife and daughter and I, we had a stillborn son. And it was 6 years to the day. And, here I am doing radio and stuff like this. And this isn't me going, needing sympathy or anything like that, because, it's worked its process. It was hard. It was a dark time and stuff like that. But, we're out the other side, and, life is good now, but, it's a 6-year anniversary to the day of that, and, got me thinking literally like a couple days after that, I was back on radio. Nobody had any idea that had happened. And why is that? You know what I mean? Why do we as a culture, and this isn't, I don't want this tied to that because, like I said, I've processed it and things like that. But, I guess my takeaway from that is why do we have to be so guarded? You know what I mean? I mean, you've got guys like, let's talk about Roger Penske. Just came out, a few weeks ago, back in 2017, he had a kidney transplant. I mean, we're talking about Roger Penske. One of the most iconic people in motorsport of all time. And, he has a kidney transplant and nobody knows about it. You've got Sonny Garcia, who I think the absolute world of. I've only met Sonny once, but we've got a bunch of mutual friends. People think the world of this guy. He went to war for his people. Not literally went to war and served in the military, but I mean, if Sonny had your back, you knew he had your back, right? And he struggled with depression, and he's in the hospital right now. But that wasn't a public thing, right? I've got friends in this industry that have battled cancer that nobody ever knew about. They've had strokes not many people ever knew about, heart attacks, things like that, and why is that? That we guard that, you know what I mean? And I think it's because the good and the bad of social media is that, as much as it's given everybody access, it's also created, the peanut gallery. And let's face it, there's some evil people. And what I'm saying is we're going to get into talking about Indy and a bunch of other stuff I want to in this opening segment. I don't want to make it about this, but I guess my takeaway from all this to anybody listening today is just have a little bit of compassion for people, because you never, ever know what they're going through in their private life. And just because they're not airing it on social media doesn't mean they're not going through some deep stuff. And, we're talking, A-list celebrities to, Indy 500 winners to just anybody, you just don't know. And I read through comments on celebrities and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And the people are just evil and sinister, and race car drivers. And if somebody makes a mistake, the people on the internet are just, they're rabid, and I guess, my takeaway from all this and things like that is just, you never know what people are going through. And because we're forced to hide it now, you never know. And these people could be struggling through some heavy, heavy things in their lives. And, and the internet is just rabid, and I've seen race car drivers struggle with it, and people are just evil, and it's kind of crazy, and I realize being a public personality, there's good and bad to it, and you got to take the good with the bad. But I'm just saying, man, some of us have a bad day, and the internet just doesn't allow us to have a bad day because they're going to be all over you. So I'm just saying my takeaway, takeaway from this rant, whatever it was to start the show, just have a little compassion. Whether you're talking politics, it's okay to disagree. Whether your favorite athlete has a bad day, don't go and assassinate them. You know what? They're people too, right? We all are, and we're all struggling through stuff. And just because it's not public on the internet doesn't mean something's not going on behind the scenes. So, all right, we are going to roll right into talking about what is happening this weekend. At least me, my media director Chris Leone, and we are hopping flights to Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the month of May kickoff, which is the Indy Grand Prix. It's actually become one of my favorite events of the year. And the truth is, it's actually one of the best IndyCar races of the year there at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But it's like everybody wants to get on the Indy 500 hype, and trust me, I've been there. It's worth the hype, right? But that being said, this Indy Grand Prix to kick off the month of May, it's like everybody, they're caring about the next weekend, which is qualifying for the Indy 500. And so nobody really wants to embrace this Indy Grand Prix, which is an amazing race in and of itself. But you go and there's half the media that would normally be there for the Indy 500. The fans are like, we're going to go next weekend, and it's still highly attended. Anything in Indianapolis Motor Speedway is, but it's just funny. Even TV viewership, I guarantee you, it's not going to be anywhere near what qualifying is the next weekend. But I'm like, here's IndyCar racing on what is basically a modified Formula One course that F1 raced at the Brickyard. It's an amazing race. It's at Indy. I mean, geez, these guys, their pits are in, the garage areas in Gasoline Alley. How big is this? I love this race. So I'm heading out there this weekend. I can promise you, I know we've already got Andretti, my good friends at Andretti. We've got my good friend Alexander Rossi lined up, Connor Daly lined up. We've got Zach Veach lined up. I know we've got a bunch of emails into some other teams. So we're going to be rolling with the IndyCar content the month of May. My good friends at Impact are sponsoring that. Very, very excited about that. So we're going to roll out a whole slew. I know Chris, he's got ideas that I don't even know about for the website. So I'm just saying, but we're going to have some great interviews. I think we're going to be possibly videoing the interviews. So looking forward to that. We'll have some stuff for the YouTube channel and Facebook video and stuff like that. You guys have really been literally, the YouTube channel has been going bananas lately. So I've been really trying to embrace video interviews more. Obviously, with this national show, it's a lot of phone-in interviews like we have today with Caps and CJ and such. So it's hard to do video, but Yeah, I think moving forward, we're definitely going to keep rocking the video. So if you guys by any chance are out at Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend for the Indy GP, I will be there. I get in Thursday night or Thursday afternoon, but I'll be there all day Friday, all day Saturday. So if you are, tweet me, hit me up at JimBeaver15. I would love to meet you guys and, just see what you guys think of what is one of my favorite events of the year. It's become just a massive event for me. It's one of our kind of our marquee events that we go to every year. We've got a big presence there, and we've got our partners at Impact in Gasoline Alley. So that's definitely nothing to be disappointed about, right? But yeah, if you and that being said, if you guys got any, we've done a ton of IndyCar driver interviews the past couple of years. But if there's somebody we've missed, somebody you'd like back, man, hit me up. We've still got time this week to organize interviews. So obviously, even if we don't get them this week in the flesh, we can get them phone-in interviews. But have we missed somebody? Is there somebody you want on the show? Bam, hit me up on social media. Would love to hear your guys' opinions, ideas, and who you would want on the show. But we are going to take a short break. We come back, my good friend CJ Hutchins and General Tire teammate and Best in the Desert winner. He's going to be on the show right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my General Tire teammate, Mr. CJ Hutchins, to the line. Big winner at the Silver State 300. How's everything going, my man?
Yeah, man, we're pumped. We're super stoked to be back on top of the box at Silver State. So super happy. We had a really clean day, and it's pretty much what it takes nowadays to win.
Yeah, it's crazy, because I know in the past couple of years, everybody wants to talk about, trophy truck fields and how close the racing's got and things like that. But, man, I'm looking at Class 1 or Class 1500, as it's called in Best in the Desert, man. But, you got to have, just like trophy trucks, a complete flawless day. And, and that being said, you guys were right up there, fighting for the overall as well, man. You got to run just as clean in Class 1500 as anywhere, man. Racing's just getting ridiculously tight.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a good qualifying run. We qualified 6th overall, 3rd in our class, and by race mile 80, the 2 cars in front of us had issues, and we got by them. And Serapis had a problem, got by him. By the time we got to pit 3 in Caliente, I was the 3rd car on the road, and Lofton and Voss were really pushing each other. So I kind of just held my pace and let them run their race. And we ended up with the win, so it worked out great for us.
Yeah, well, and I got to think, like a race like Silver State, it's a lot of twisty, technical type roads and stuff like that. I feel like the Class 1500 car probably does pretty well compared to the trucks at a race like that, right?
Yeah, I think on the roads we're probably really comparable in our speeds. I think nowadays the trucks are so good, I think they're actually going faster than the buggies in some of the sand washes and areas where as soon as I lift that inside tire, I lose all my traction to the dirt, right? With a buggy, I'm only turning one tire. So those trucks, they keep both tires on the ground in those washes, and they just keep their traction.
Well, going back to talking about qualifying, because I know you're right up there against the trucks, and it's funny because you're consistent. Every time you qualify, I mean, it's like you look at guys, and even if it's a race with, where we're qualifying 70, 80 people, like at the Mint, I mean, you say, which car do you think is going to be up the top, and you're always in the mix with the trucks and everything else, But the thing is, like, I watch you drive, and then you watch some of these other guys, and like, it makes you nervous to watch them qualify because it's like every corner is a complete yard sale. It's like you never know if they're just going to ball it up. But I feel like when you qualify, man, your car has to be so dialed in because, like, you always are so clean in qualifying. Nobody expects excitement out of you, which I mean in the best possible way. It's like nobody expects you to ball it up. Some of these other guys, like, they qualify, and it's like, man, it's like Russian roulette every corner, man. You guys just have to be locked in and in the zone for qualifying, right?
Oh, yeah, qualifying's definitely on the edge 100%, and I have learned through these years of qualifying that being smooth is always fast, so that qualifying course for Silver State was really tight and pretty slow with a lot of big ruts, so I knew that just being smooth and staying in the line was going to be fast, so that's all I did, focused on keeping the car in the rut and not over-driving it, and it worked out well. So.
Yeah.
As far as qualifying up front goes, it just makes your race day that much easier when you can get in that front group of guys and stay out there and let everybody chase you. So it's we've been qualifying well, so hopefully we can carry that momentum into Vegas to Reno.
Yeah. Well, and talking about Vegas to Reno coming up, man, I mean, you it seems like, the past couple of years, you've got that one pretty figured out. Obviously, we don't know what the course layout's going to be yet, this year, but, Vegas to Reno, I mean, what's your guys' game plan going into that one? Because I think literally, you talk Vegas to Reno class 1500, it seems like you guys always have the target on your back 'cause you've had a lot of success there.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite races. I think Silver State and Vegas to Reno are probably my two favorite races on the Best in the Desert schedule. Our car just does really good in the high-speed stuff on the roads. I feel like I excel in that. I'm not scared to throw the car into a turn. So, and again, it comes down to being smooth and being mentally tough to be able to sit there for 550 miles and get the car to the finish line without problems and without driving off the road. So that's really our main focus is we're racing against ourselves. We race our own pace and see who's left at the end.
Yeah, well, when you go to Vegas to Reno, a lot of guys are swapping out. They split the race 50-50 and stuff like that. I'm one of those guys. Like, you tend to just drive the whole damn thing, right? I mean, how is that for you to stay in the zone? Because I know, like me, like I can do a 550-mile race, but I start getting towards the end, like that last 100 miles, last 50 miles, dude. And it's like, man, my body's kind of wearing out. It's like, man, we need to be to this finish line now. How do you keep on point? Because a lot of guys can finish a race after driving that long, but not a lot of guys can win a race driving that long,
Yeah, I think it just comes with a lot of seat time and a lot of experience, and I think I'm a very calm, relaxed driver when I'm in the car, and I think that helps a lot. It lets me go further distances than other people can go at a high speed. So Vegas to Reno, even though it is 550 miles, I generally do solo that race, and usually I'm not too tired at the end. Honestly, Silver State in previous years, Silver State has got me more fatigued than Vegas to Reno just due to the so technical and how many turns there are on that track. But Vegas to Reno, it's definitely a mental game there. That, like you said, that last 100 miles is always tough, and it seems like that's always when you have to push. You get to that last 100 miles, and all of a sudden there's a guy 2 minutes behind you, and now you got to go. And hopefully you don't get a flat through that last nasty section coming to the finish. So it always seems to work out that way at Vegas to Reno. But the mental toughness is key up there for sure.
Yeah, it's funny about Vegas to Reno, too, because, like, it's a 550-mile race, and the first 500 miles aren't bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's and then you get to that last 50 miles, and it's like, let's throw the absolute worst part of the entire track at you. Like, the last 50 miles, your car's worn out, you're worn out, you're trying to get to the finish, and it's like, oh, yeah, we're not going to make this easy on you. We're going to make you go boulder crawl for the last 50 miles,
Yeah, those rocks are nasty that last 50 miles. I will say those new General Tire X3 grabbers are just incredible through the rocks, through the roads, and the sand washes. I mean, Silver State has more turns than any other course, and we never drove off the road once. Those tires just stuck to those slippery roads. Unbelievable tire. So thankful for General Tire's support and everything they do for us.
Yeah, well, it's one thing I've said, and this isn't like you and I just like literally, pimping General Tire here, but dude, the X3s, like I know in the past, like I've done some grooving in tires and stuff like that. These X3s, they track so well. Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, it's like the car goes exactly where you want it to go. The tires just track so well, especially like, a lot of cars, you get up 100 plus miles an hour, they start to float, right? It seems like with these tires though, man, it just tracks really well at even the high speeds, and that's just my experience with them, and it seems like you've, kind of got the same thing.
Yeah, I would agree 100% with that. With the old tread pattern, we used to cut them and kind of do some grooving for qualifying and stuff, but with this new X3, we don't groove. We would never groove tires anymore, not the fronts, not the rears, and they last great. It looked like we did do a tire change at Silver State, and after looking at the tires, it looks like they were fine. We probably could have went the whole race without even changing tires, which is awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I found the same thing that out at Parker this year in the trophy truck too. We did, we generally, swap, and it was like just the compound change from the X3s, to the previous Grabbers, same thing. Like we're getting way better tire life out of them. It's kind of crazy. It's just like General Tire took what was really good before and just perfected it with his new X3.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, we're talking about this. I'm looking at the results so far. You're 3 for 3 on finishes. You finished at 425. You took a podium at the Mint. You just won Silver State. I know going into Silver State, points were really tight. I think there's like 6-7 points. Maybe we're separating you guys in the top 3. Have any idea where the points are going to shake out? I'm thinking you're going to be the leader leaving Silver State, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I should be the points leader after Silver State. Sam Bailey had us by a couple of points. Parker was an absolute heartbreaker for us. We had that pretty much wrapped up with a huge lead on the last lap and lost the CV. Ended up changing the CV out in the rain in the middle of the night at Parker, but still got the finish, which was key for the points. So, we had a good day at the Mint, podium there, like you said, and we won Silver State, and now it's off to Vegas to Reno, my other favorite race. So I definitely think we're the car to beat at Vegas to Reno for the 1500s. So, it's going to be a good race, and we're excited to get out there.
Yeah. Well, talking about Vegas to Reno, and you said the car to beat 1500s, I agree, but I'm looking at the overall picture here, man. I mean, what do you think it's going to take for you and your Class 1500 car to overall Vegas to Reno? Obviously a clean day, but, what's it going to take for us to see a Class 1500 car back, on top in an overall picture at like Vegas to Reno?
Yeah, it like you say, it takes an absolutely flawless day, and you got to qualify well to be in that front group and try to stay with them there and see who's left that last 100 miles. And Vegas to Reno is always a tricky race. It's always, you got to go fast enough to stay up front, but you got to make sure you save some car for that last 100 miles. So it's definitely a balancing act up there. But last year we qualified second at Vegas to Reno, and we ended up being first on the road for a little bit there. And before we broke an arm, so we're definitely looking to get back out there and get some redemption on Vegas to Reno after we got that redemption on Silver State from last year's crash. So we'll be looking forward to Vegas to Reno.
Yeah. So before we let you go, got to ask, obviously you're going to be doing Vegas to Reno. I'm assuming we're going to see you at Laughlin as well, hunting that points championship this year. We're going to see you sneak down to Baja at all this year?
Man, we would like to. We don't have anything in the plans right now. You never know how that can change. So we'll definitely be at all the Best in Desert races. Try to win this championship for General Tire.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, CJ, man. Congrats on the big win at Silver State. We'll see you out at the General Tire Vegas to Reno, man, and take care, buddy.
Awesome. Great to talk to you.
And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty radio show since 2012. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I've partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my next guest, Mr. Ron Capps, to the line, who looks like on Instagram you got a friend you inherited yesterday, right?
Yeah, well, obviously a big win for us in Atlanta, but the biggest thing was at Napa Auto Parts headquarters in Atlanta. So I got to do what every team, every racer loves to do, and if it ever happens, and that is to win in your sponsor's backyard, but even more so to be able to take the big Wally trophy to headquarters like I just did. So that was huge.
Yeah, well, that being said, like, that's kind of the perfect storm, right? I mean, everybody wants to take home a Wally, but it's not exactly that easy. And then you can do it in your hometown. You got that special paint scheme on the car with Napa brakes, like the whole works. Like, man, I don't want to say you had a perfect weekend, but it's got to be damn close there, Ron.
Well, man, it didn't start out that way. Trust me, we didn't qualify well, and there had some storms come through, and we lost one qualifying run, but it turned out good. And more than that, we gained some confidence back in our race team. Ron Tobler, my crew chief, I always brag about his Napa know-how and just how old school he is. And I finally saw some confidence in him and just a big bunch of wins on Sunday. I mean, to beat John Force second round, he's vying for his 150th win. And I'm sure NHRA has all the banners and all the stuff ready for that big occasion. But I told him, put it all away. It ain't going to happen with me in the other lane. So him and I, they said that was our 101st meeting together. So a lot of history there. Just a big day.
Yeah, well, that being said, we got a lot to talk about. Going back to John, that was one of my questions. I mean, when you face against him, and I mean, he's been around the sport for a long time, and obviously we all know his, his credentials, but, whether it's in a final, whether it's whenever you come up against him and you beat him, that's always like, you got to walk away going, man, I just beat John Force. There's it's something special when you beat Force, right?
Yeah, let me tell you, it's half joking, but I've said many times in interviews that when you race John Force, it always feels like it's Pomona, November, final round for the whole world championship. And I used to always say, I don't care if I'm racing Force first round, second round, or racing him in the rental car back to the airport or back to the hotel. You want to beat John Force. And that's still that same way. I don't care how he's running, but he's got a good hot rod this year. That's been the difference. He's got Courtney Force's team, and we saw how good she ran last year. And so, you put John Force in a car like that, he's got this vitality all of a sudden, and he's running good. He's cutting good lights. He's driving good. He's got this energy that I haven't seen in a couple years. And you put that all together, and it's dangerous for a guy like him. But he is our sport this last, couple decades. And it's so fun to have him, to be able to say that he's in our sport. But it's fun to race him.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, you went back and talked about, you kind of got some of that confidence back, and Funny Car this year has been, it's been a little bit different beast, and obviously Robert's had some, Height's had some success, but really it's been kind of anybody's game. It's kind of been all over the grid, and, you feel like you guys got your mojo back, you got a little swagger in your step, heading into this summer stretch.
Yeah. And hey, Robert Height and Jimmy Prock, they have, let's be honest, they've pretty much dominated. They haven't won every race, but they certainly are there in races they haven't won. They're there late on Sunday and around. So, they're going to be there at the end of the year for the championship. We can almost guarantee it. As are we, last decade. And that's not something every team can say. But in the meantime, we're just trying to chip away, and we just need to get our car back. And then we can go up there. And, I've talked with you about this. You have to put a little bit of pressure on your opponent in drag racing before you roll up to the starting line. And there's times in the past that we won the championship or we won races because we've made great runs the run prior to that or the race prior to that. And when a team or a crew chief looks at, oh man, I got to race that Napa car, they may get a little bit outside of their own box and end up smoking or beating their tires, or beating themselves or smoking the tires, and kind of pushing it more than they would have. And that's part of the game. And so that's the other cool part, to get a win like we did, to make the runs we did on Sunday, and just really get the confidence that we can run well, and it puts that pressure on your opponents. And so that's what you got to do. You're not going to beat Jimmy Prock unless you go up there and pressure him to beat himself.
And it's crazy that you say that, because literally I can go back a week and I had Steve Torrance on the show, and he said, almost word for word the exact same thing. And he says, in the NHRA, the mental game is so strong. And he's like, you lose that mental edge. He's like, you can have the car 100%, but he's like, you lose that mental edge. And he's like, he says, there's a lot to be said about having it. And it's funny because just what you said is literally like word for word what Torrance told me a week ago. And I just find it funny because, he got his win last week, and then I think he doubled down and won again this week, but you got that win. So I feel like, your mental game's back, and it's like, now you got that momentum, and it's like, everybody knows, hey, Caps is here to play.
Yeah. You hope so. And you want to, and it's easy to tell your fans, hey man, we're close. We'll be back. We're just going through some stuff. But then there's a certain point, you get to where you're like, oh man, am I believing what I'm saying? Are we really going to get there soon? And, not that we weren't confident, but man, even qualifying 11th like we did this last weekend, it wasn't until I stepped on the gas the first round Sunday that I really felt like, okay, now I'm believing what I've been telling everybody. And then I see Ron Tobler on the big screen walking off the starting line with a little bit more oomph, a little more bump in his step. And listen, us drivers, we're only as good as our cars. I'm not going to squeeze. I've talked about this before. It's not like in a dirt car or an Indy car or a NASCAR car. I'm not going to make my car any better as a driver, but I can certainly make it worse. Driving out of the groove, leaving late, not doing the right thing in the car. So in drag racing, your job as a driver is just to do the right thing and do the same thing over and over and not mess up. It is probably my biggest job title, is not to screw up. So in other sports, you can take a NASCAR car and you can take a driver and give them a 10th place car, and some of those guys can squeeze an 8th or 7th place out of that car. Our sport, you can't do it. If any driver gets out and says that he had a big part in making that car win more than it would have, then they're either dumb or they're lying. So that's the key. And I just wanted to keep, while we're struggling, I wanted to keep doing the stuff that I always do so Ron Tolbert could focus on the car.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, you talked about qualifying 11th, and I know, weather came in, and there was a lot of factors for that. But when you come in 11th, I mean, is that one of those things where you come in and you go, man, I mean, you're top qualifier, and I don't want to say there's ever, any kind of easy bracket or anything, in NHRA, because we all know everything's tough and anything can happen. But when you qualify there, it's just going to be a little bit tougher road, you know what I mean, to get to the top. Does that play anything into your mental factor?
It does, because, you don't get lane choice. If you're not in the top 8, you don't have lane choice first round. And sometimes it doesn't matter, but there's times when there's no oil down in front of you in top fuel, and guess what? It matters a lot. And so, yes, to be honest with you, we left Houston 2 races ago with so much confidence, ran so good, qualified second. And then we had a bunch of issues with a chassis when we rolled into Charlotte for 4-wide that we had to change cars. We weren't even qualified going into the last session. And we were very close to not even racing on Sunday. We made a change, went out there, got in the show, and still lost first round, but it just threw us for a loop, and it kind of caused us to step back a little bit. And so it was nice to get to Atlanta, make a decent run, but there we were 11th, and I thought, oh, man, this is going to be a rough day. We just need to get past first round. But once we did, I sort of felt that sort of confidence building. And Tobler, just the way that I could see him, and where I get dressed in my locker is where the crew chief compound is, where him and Dustin, our assistant, look at the data, and I listen to him, and I know enough about these race cars that I can know what they're going to do and expect it in the race car. And I could tell his confidence looking at the computer. I could tell his confidence making the call for the next run. The talk that we had before going up there against John Forrest, that, hey, this is what we're going to do. And that run was probably the run of the weekend for Funny Car, to go out there without lane choice in the right lane, run 402 when other cars couldn't even get down the whole track without spinning tires. That's when I
How is that as good as the first one?
Well, dude, it felt like eternity since we had our last win. I really was starting to wonder, man, we just signed an extension with Napa Auto Parts. We got to show them that, we can get right back on that winning horse. And so it was big. I sounded spoiled a couple times. I said, man, when I was in the winner's circle, I thought, man, I'm holding on to that Wally trophy thinking and saying out loud, oh, it's been so long. It had really only been till Charlotte last year in our countdown. So what, 9 races. And I know there's teams that have never won, and there's teams that have not won in years. And so sometimes I got to bite my tongue, but for our team, it felt like an eternity. And it just felt like, I just felt like a lot of pressure was on, and jokingly, but not jokingly, on top of it, our Napa, our sort of mantra this year has been fun, because it's Alexander Rossi in IndyCar. He just won in Long Beach.
Yep.
Running really well. Chase Elliott won in Talladega last weekend. Brad Sweet, our World of Outlaws, Napa Auto Parts sprint car, just won. And Derek Kraus, the new kid coming up in NASCAR, just won last week as well. I was the odd man out. And usually these guys, my teammates, Chase and Alexander Rossi, they're always giving me crap because we're always winning, and they're like, dude, go easy on us. You're making us look bad at headquarters. And so all of a sudden we roll into Atlanta, and all my teammates have won. And the hashtag we're using all year is all we do is win. And it's just been fun, except I hadn't won. So for the first time in a long, long time, I felt more pressure than I put on myself, which is strange because I never feel more than I put on myself or a team. So that was probably the coolest thing about the win.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that's really rad. You talk about that and all the Team Napa guys. I've got to know Rossi pretty well the past couple of years, but I think that's awesome when you guys have that camaraderie, within a brand, and it's almost like a little, brotherhood type of thing there where you guys, you're poking fun, but I think that's really cool because I think a lot of brands and their athletes, they don't have that friendship that seems like you guys have behind the scenes.
No, and Rossi's been fun. I followed him in F1, and we sort of started interacting on Twitter when at the end of his F1 career before he came to IndyCar. And Chase is just I love Chase to death. His dad is one of my favorite people, and so it's been fun to sort of because I've had some cool teammates. Michael Waltrip when I came in, all the commercials we did, all the fun stuff, and then Martin Truex was my teammate for several years, and we had a lot of fun with the commercials and stuff that Napa did. And of course, it's been a lot of fun, but I got to say, man, the last couple of years, especially right now, I don't think you can find a sponsor with more talent for teams and motorsports and just character, just good teams and really people that you can latch on to. Rossi's really opened up a little bit. He's got such a great sense of humor. He's been fun to be around, and he's a badass, in the cockpit. And I think people are seeing that more and more. It's just been fun. It has really been fun to watch these guys around me and be part of this whole thing. So every weekend, man, our Napa Nation, I guess you'd call it, just has really had it nice. And so other than me, we've been an odd man out. So it's such a relief to finally get that monkey off the back. And as far as my Napa teammates.
Yeah, well, I was going to say you got a weekend off now. I guess it's always nice to go into that little bit of a break with a win. I guess makes your off weekend just a little bit more fun, right?
Yeah, and I just left headquarters here. I just delivered the Wally, and the CEO, the CFO, the president, everybody was there. Not a better feeling than to hand over that Wally to these guys and take a picture. But they just let me know because I pleaded with them. The car we ran, the Atlanta race with the Napa Brakes car, was a one-off car, one weekend. Well, I asked if we could run it again in Richmond in 2 weeks, and they said yes. And the promotion for Napa Brakes is the month of May, and it's perfect. So I just got the okay, which is I can't wait to call my team and tell them they're going to be pretty excited.
Yeah, that is awesome. I dig that paint scheme. It's just, we love the blue and yellow, but that, with that gold kind of tint to it, just something special. It seems like you guys have found the magic, Ron. I appreciate the time on the show, my friend, and, good luck here in 2 weeks.
You got it, man. Thanks, dude.
And we'll be back after this.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners and for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Just getting done with Napa Ron Caps, giving us that Napa know-how Napa know-how knowledge. And, yeah, man, good weekend for him and my good friends there at Don Schumacher Racing. So big shout-out to him for the win. Stoked to see that paint scheme coming back also. Man, that thing, car looked badass this weekend, and stoked it's going to stick around for at least another round. But, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in so far today. I had my General Tire teammate CJ Hutchins on here in hour number 1 as well. So, yeah, been a solid hour to kick things off. We're getting ready to roll right into hour number 2. Do want to mention before we run into hour number 2, I'm doing 3 shows a week now. I didn't know if you guys knew that or not, but I am. We've got the national show that you're listening to now. We've also got my off-road show that drops on Wednesdays. Same feed as the Down and Dirty Show, same RSS feed on iTunes. It is not a national syndication. I am stoked that the 4 Parts Down and Dirty Show Off-Road Edition will be on the Performance Motorsports Network moving forward, so another place to listen to it there. But yeah, really stoked. That show, number-wise, is doing insane. Make sure and check it out. Also got Project Action on Podcast One, my podcast where anything goes. My guest this week, Jonathan Coyle. Think you guys are going to enjoy that. Big-time fitness guy, husband of Natalie Eva Marie, podcaster, a bunch of other stuff, and come to find out, yeah, he's a gamer. So, yeah, I got Jonathan Coyle on that show this week as well. Check it out, as well as downanddirtyshow.com. We're going to take a short break. We come back, hour number 2, right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
All right, welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Kicking off hour number 2. Hour number 1, Slam Pack with Ron Capps and CJ Hutchins. Hour number 2, not going to disappoint either. We got Power Rankings, Tiffany Stone and Cynthia Gauthier, who will be racing in the Monster Jam World Finals. But right now, we got to roll right into our Best in the Desert results from this past weekend. Brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you that anywhere is possible. And, it's kind of a toss-up. I got to decide. Should ask CJ earlier, man, what his favorite General Tire is. I kind of got a toss-up between the ATX and the X3. So it depends on the application, but kind of digging them both. But, yes, coming away with the overall on the four-wheel side of things. Overall victory, it was a tag team, Jeff Turzo, but Justin Lofton behind the wheel of that U Theory hot rod as well. So it was Lofton and U Theory taking home the big victory in Trick Truck. Means back-to-back Best in the Desert victories for Justin Lofton. Solid season for him right now. We got Kevin Thompson there in the second spot. Steve Ologist third. Andrew Whitehead, another U Theory truck. And then Justin Matney rounding out your top 5 in Trick Truck. Class 1500, it was General Tire CJ Hutchins with the top spot, and Ladd Gilbert and another General Tire driver, Ray Griffith, my good friend Ray Griffith, there in third. Looking down even further in some of the results, looking at Class 6000 winner, Corey Winter, Ryan Winter, a couple of winners there, no pun intended, 1 and 2. Travis Williams there in the third spot. Class 10, it was Connor McMullen taking the victory. Looking down the list into the UTV ranks, it was my boy Seth Quintero making it 4 for 4 in his Polaris Razor to take the victory in Production 1000, or I guess naturally aspirated as it's also known. And then the UTV Turbo class, Phil Blurton making it back-to-back. He took the victory over Polaris Razor's Jacob Carver. Jake Carver there in second. Dustin Jones, Lambert, and Mitch Guthrie Jr. rounding out your top 5 in UTV Turbo. So those were some of your winners. 6100 winner, it was Kyle Jurgensen there. But that was your Best in the Desert results, brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you that anywhere is possible. And we are going to take a short break. We come back, it is going to be Power Rankings right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Holy Oh man, that was a hell of a ride. Go check out mymedic.com for the best first aid kits on the planet and save 15% with discount code Jim Beaver. Again, mymedic.com, discount code Jim Beaver, and save 15%. It's cheaper than a funeral.
Cheaper than a funeral, that is right. I love that spot there with my good friends at My Medic. That's right. Whether you are, if you enjoy dirt biking out in the razors on the weekend, even snowboarding, action sports, hiking, hunting, or just a soccer mom, man, they've got something for everybody. My Medic, some of the best first aid kits in the world. And use that coupon code Jim Beaver, and you're going to get 15% off all orders on their website, mymedic.com. Check it out. So, man, welcome back right here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Right now we're rolling into Power Rankings, which just started thinking. I'm like, man, we need to get a sponsor for these Power Rankings segments. We got such a slam-packed show today. Next two guests going to be Tiffany Stone and my good friend Cynthia Gauthier, that we weren't able to do the full 2-segment deal. So Chris Leone, he isn't calling in today. Not only that, but he's pinned trying to get ready to go to the Indy GP. So I'm flying solo today on the Power Rankings. But that being said, I think we do need some kind of a partner or sponsor for this. Maybe we can get some like social media fan involvement in the Power Rankings if we get the right partner. I don't know. My wheels are ticking. My brain is spinning right now on how we can make this fun for everybody. It's fun for me. It's fun for Chris, and you guys seem to enjoy them. But I think we can even make it better. We just need to get that partner. But anyways, Power Rankings. So those of you that are first-time listeners, we do this every single week, and basically we rank the top 5 performances in motorsport for like a 7-day window. So this doesn't encompass all of 2019. It literally just takes a 7-day window of performances and takes the top 5, top to bottom. Who we thought were the best in these past 7 days. Now, a week out, 2 weeks out, those do kind of factor into things. But really, it's just a 7-day window of performances, that go into it, and then the outlier is kind of the season leading up to where we're at. So, I do have a couple of honorable mentions. We'll get to when these are over. People that you will probably notice that were noticeably absent on the Power Rankings. But coming in at number 5 today on my Power Rankings for this week. I don't know what the heck the week is, but coming in on my Power Rankings at number 5 for this week, we have Martin Truex. That's right. He took the Cup victory this past weekend. It was his second win of 2019. It also moved him into the top 5 in points. So for those reasons, I don't know. It was a solid weekend for Martin Truex. We're going to move him into the number 5 spot on our Power Rankings. Now, number 4, I have these guys at a tie. It's my Power Rankings. I can do what I want to. I tend to have ties in my Power Rankings once in a while. And rightfully so. These guys, they've almost had identical performances. They both race UTVs. I didn't quite know how to rank one above the other. So I've got a tie in for 4th in my Power Rankings. And it allowed me to slide an extra person into my Power Rankings. So there was a reason for my madness. Coming in at number 4, I had Seth Quintero and Phil Blurton. Now, Seth Quintero, he runs a naturally aspirated UTV, which would be kind of, I guess, the Xfinity series for UTVs, for those of you NASCAR fans. So Seth, he runs an NA, factory Polaris guy. He's gone 4 for 4. This kid is 16 years old. I posted a long, lengthy Instagram post about him. He's gone 4 for 4 to start out 2019. He's taken marquee wins at the UTV World Championship and at the Mint 400, and now he is a Silver State 300 winner. 4 for 4. He has the perfect season going on. So that puts Seth Quintero at number 4. But tied for Seth Quintero at number 4, I had Phil Blurton, which runs in Pro Turbo UTV. He is 2 for 2 in the last couple of rounds. He's taken a victory at Silver State. He took a victory at the UTV World Championship, and he also took a second place at the Mint 400. So I Phil would be kind of considered in the Cup class. I don't know. I didn't know how to pick one or two over the other, and I didn't want you guys to go, "Oh, Jimmy always goes with the Polaris guy," which. Truth, but so I got Seth Quintero and Phil Blurton tied at number 4 on my list, and that's one I would like you to weigh in. What's the better performance, Phil or Seth, so far 2019? One's in one class, one's in the other. That's where I'd love to hear from you guys on social media. Help me out on this one because I've got them ranked as a tie. Then moving on to number 3 on the list. We had my good friend Justin Lofton taking the overall victory at the Silver State 300 this past weekend, driving I don't want to say a backup truck. He was driving the U-Theory truck. His truck wasn't prepped and ready, so he's driving the U-Theory truck. So he jumped into somebody else's truck, took the overall victory in it, which that makes back-to-back overall victories for Justin Lofton. He took a overall victory at the Mint 400, one of those marquee victories just a few weeks ago or a month ago. I don't know, it was 2 months ago, back in March. I don't know. I'm so confused at this point. So he's 2 for 2 in his last 2 starts. Overall victories at the Mint 400 and Silver State 300. For those reasons, I got Justin Lofton at number 3 on my list. And now a lot of you are going to be like, well, why was Lofton ahead of Blurton and Quintero? Well, Lofton's in the marquee division of all of off-road, trophy truck or trick truck, and these were victories that were overall, not just in class. So I got Lofton there at number 3 on my list, which brings me to number 2 on my list. I got my boy Steve Torrance. Steve-O moving back onto the list. He's been off there for a bit, but now he is moving back onto the list. He's 2 for 2. Taking victories in Top Fuel in the last 2 NHRA events, and now he is the points leader in Top Fuel. So for those reasons, I got Mr. Steve Torrance as number 2 on my list, which leaves me at number 1 on my list, and I guarantee I'm going to blow your mind with this one. You're not expecting it. You would expect me to have Cooper Webb at number 1, but you know what? I don't. I got Eli Tomac at number 1. You want to know why? Cooper Webb did win the championship. But if you're looking at power rankings right now, Eli Tomac has to be number 1 on the list. This guy won the finale in Las Vegas. He's taken 3 out of the last 4 450 victories in the Supercross season. He finished second in the points, and you got to think if anybody has the momentum going into the outdoor season right now, it is Eli Tomac. Now, don't discredit what Cooper Webb accomplished. Cooper Webb absolutely had a dominant 450 outing, but you know what? You look at the last 4 races, it was all Eli Tomac, 3 out of 4 victories. So right now, I say the momentum is shifting into Tomac's favor heading into outdoors. He had the stronger run to the finish line, but Cooper Webb accumulated the most points early on in the season. For those reasons, I have Mr. Eli Tomac at number 1 on my list, which leaves me to my couple of honorable mentions. Obviously, one of my honorable mentions has to be Cooper Webb. With Tomac winning all these races means Cooper Webb was finishing second, right? Did take a victory a week ago. He took home the championship. Let's put it this way. He knew he just had to finish. He needed to make the main event, and he needed to finish. He could have laid up and finished 10th and been fine. He didn't. He still took a podium. You got to give credit where credit's due. Cooper Webb having a phenomenal season. I got Cooper Webb as an honorable mention. His performance this week puts him there at honorable mention. Also, one of our guests today, I've got him on the list as an honorable mention, Napa Ron Capps. Ron Capps and Don Schumacher Racing, they found their mojo. They have it back. They got the mojo back, and, they are rolling right now, and I think it's definitely gonna put momentum in their favor as we hit the summer stretch in NHRA for this year. And I think Ron Capps definitely deserving of being on the power rankings list. So those are my power rankings for this week. I would love for you guys, this is where the fans get involved. Hit me up on social media at JimBeaver15. Let me know what you guys think. It's I don't know. It was a fun week for power rankings. Lots of stuff going on, but this next week's going to even be more shenanigans as IndyCar gets back in the fold with the Indy GP there at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we're going to take a short break. We come back. Tiffany Stone, she's going to be on the line right here with me on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by, that is right, Polaris Razor. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, along with partner in crime, Tiffany Stone, who was out at Indianapolis for the Ultimate Call-Out Challenge. I guess we're crisscrossing each other in the air because I'm heading to Indy on Thursday. But, yeah, how was that, Tiff? I actually had some people reach out to me and go, hey, are you going to be at the Ultimate Call-Out Challenge? Dude, that's a place where you ought to be. And, like, I've never been there. Like, this year it's finally blipped on my radar, like, big enough where I'm like, oh, we need to pay attention to this. And then coincidentally, here you are out there.
I know. I mean, it was awesome. It was something different than I'm used to. And you want to know what makes it different, Jim?
Oh.
There was pavement. There was pavement and there was no dirt, and it was something badass and something different and cool. And I've never really been in the diesel scene, so I got to meet up with the 4x4 Barbie Pleasant Cook out there. So big shout out to her. But it's cool because, you know, it's something so different. It's you know, it's turbos and it's spooling and it's rolling coal and it's doing all these other things, and you see some of these vehicles and you're like, man, you know, that truck doesn't have that much horsepower. That truck's not doing, you know, 0 to 60 in like 1 second. You know, like it's all these cool things, and you're like, wow, it's so different, and it's cool to see how powerful diesel can really be.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny. Like I think a lot of people just think diesel's like, you know, cowboy truck or something, you know, that's towing, and like I don't know, like. Diesel Performance is like, I've looked, there's like these podcasts on it. I mean, there's magazines on it. It's crazy. There's like diesel people, and, you know, I'm one of those, like, I can't say like, I can appreciate, you know, diesel trucks and stuff like that. I've owned diesel trucks, but it's not like I'm one of these big Diesel Performance guys. But like you start watching YouTube videos and stuff like that, holy crap. Like you said, I mean, these things are like these things haul ass like a sports car.
Exactly. And it was really, really cool to see how much is really put into that. And like you were saying, you've had that, and you and I are the same type where we may not necessarily be 100% into that, but we respect it, and we respect the amount of time people put into their vehicles. You know, I'm not really like a fully lifted truck type of girl, you know, like Pleasant is. You know, that's Pleasant's scene, and she does it, and she does it well, but I can still respect the amount of time somebody puts into that, because they're going to probably look at my Jeep and be like, what is that? So, you know, it's cool to go to different events and see the enthusiasm people still have, because like we always say, motorsports, no matter what, it's still a form, and you still can enjoy those different things.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's one thing I like, just even trucks, you know, and obviously you and I are kind of truck people, whether it be, you know, short course or desert racing, or now, you know, obviously Call Out Challenge, but like, you know, even now there's, you know, I can't say now, but it's been around for a while with the NASCAR Truck Series. Like, there's so much with trucks, and I think it's awesome because there's truck people that will never own a car. So it's like now they you know, truck people have, like, their disciplines have expanded, and it's like, well, we kind of really enjoy drag racing, but we want to do drag racing in trucks. So, you know, then things like this pop up. It's just funny to me, like, you know, there's all these subsets of being a truck guy, because in the past it was always you had a truck, you know, it was like either lifted or lowered. Now there's like so many things if you're a truck person you can do with it. Like all these people and different cultures are emerging, you know, just around trucks.
No, and that's what's so cool about it, because before I come from NHRA as well. So I'm used to seeing the dragsters, funny cars, pro stock motorcycles. So I understand the drag racing dynamic, you know, the tree going up, setting everything up, burning the tires, warming them up. So it was cool to see it, like you said, in a different form. And like we normally see, they're either lifted or lowered. And some of these drag trucks are $125,000 plus. And it's just crazy to see the amount of like work and mechanics and just everything. So it was a really cool event, just something different. it rained, so it kind of washed some stuff out, pushed racing back. But overall, it's a cool experience just to see different things.
Yeah, that is rad. Well, and it's funny because it's like Ford, I think now, like I'm trying to think back. I think they've got this F450 Platinum Diesel limited edition that literally the truck from the factory clocks in at over $100,000. It's like full on luxury truck. So I'm like, yeah, people used to think like, oh, regular cab beater, and now like you look and you've got these diesels like that are over $100K just from the factory and stock trim. It's like, man, trucks have come a long, long way.
No, and you're exactly right. Like, I actually saw a listed F450 fully nice. And it's like we said, you know, you and I may look at it and it may not be like, oh my God, this is what we love. We want to build this, but we still respect the aesthetics of it, the time, the effort that somebody put into it.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, you were out there at the Ultimate Call-Out Challenge. Is this like a one-off deal, T-Stone, or is this something that, you know, that they do like a few times a year?
This is a one-off, so that's normally in Indy. It always happens during this time, so it's kind of cool. AMSOIL was out there, so that's, you know, why we were out there and promoting just different things, and it's cool to see AMSOIL getting in a bunch of different stuff. So I'm kind of excited that I got to do some of those one-offs. Looking forward to, you know, doing some more different things.
Yeah. Well, that being said, what's up next for you? Obviously, you know, you've been cranking, you know, obviously been at the Ultimate Call-Out Challenge. You've been doing some NASCAR stuff, off-road. Like, I think I don't know, there's groups of people like you and I who travel and we're kind of like motorsports gypsies. But I got to say, like, you have been to probably more diverse amount of events this year than just about anybody I know. Like, what's next for you?
Actually, surprisingly, I have 3 weeks off. So maybe I might celebrate my birthday this weekend or something like that. Who knows? I didn't really do anything for my birthday, which was kind of nice and relaxing, but I don't know. So I have 3 weeks off, and then the next ARA, we head over to Oregon Trail Rally. So that'll be kind of cool at the end of the month.
Yeah, Oregon Trail Rally, I got to say, that's probably my favorite rally. That and New England Forest Rally. Probably my favorite rallies on the calendar. But Oregon Trail, it's rad because it's like 3 different rallies in one. Like the first day is at Portland International, and they actually run, you know, basically, you know, part of it's on tarmac and, you know, part of it's on dirt, but, or on gravel, as the rally community would say. But it's like, you know, it's super special stages there. And it's like kind of a stadium atmosphere and almost like rallycross. And then day number 1, you move and it's like, out to Oregon, you know, and there's like these long stretches that almost remind you of desert racing. Like these cars will go the fastest they do anywhere on the calendar, like to the point where there's some straightaways where they set up a chicane in the middle because they don't want the cars going that fast. So the guys will be like 100 plus miles an hour. They have to brake, go around a chicane, and then get back up to speed because they just don't want them tapped out that long. So it's like these long, just like literally you gotta nut up, you know what I mean, to drive that fast. It's like crazy. And then you go to day number 3 of that thing, and it's like through the trees and twisty, windy, kind of like how you envision rally. And then, like, I don't know if they're going to do it this year, but on the Washington side of the border, last time I was up there, they actually skipped over, and there's actually an asphalt or a quote tarmac hill, and it's actually like a mini Pikes Peak, and they actually ran the cars up the hill one time. So I went up and tucked on the side of the mountain, and it was only like 4 miles long, but like the Oregon Trail is like the most diverse rally on the calendar. Like, I'm stoked for you to go to that one because, like, literally it's my absolute favorite event on the ARA calendar.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm excited to do it. And like when I was researching and looking through stuff, you know, because this is my first time really getting deep into rally, it was kind of cool. I'm like, wait, they're doing 3 different types of rallies, and this is one of the very few 3-day rallies, like you were saying, that they do. So it's going to be cool to see the different type of terrain, you know, like you said, going from tarmac to gravel and back. So I'm excited for that one. We still need to get you to come up there, Jim, and like wreak havoc with me and you up there, because I'm assuming you kind of miss it and you're excited about everything.
Yeah, no, like I really miss it, you know, because I worked for the National Series for 2-3 years, and kind of doing the same thing you're doing, driver interviews, and you just get to meet and know these people and stuff. And like we all DM each other back and forth quite a bit, and I know another good friend of mine, Kiana Erickson Chang. She's slaying it this year. Got some big announcements. It'd be fun to catch up with her, and just so many of them. Like David Higgins, a good friend of mine. I don't know. I need to pick out one on the calendar. I know my month of May is crazy. I'm going to Indy this weekend for the GP. Then I have a week off, and then I go to Charlotte Motor Speedway for Coke 600 qualifying and the General Tire ARCA 150 race. So I don't know. I'm bouncing around pretty good in the month of May. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll have to get our schedules together, lock something in, T-Stone.
No, I know. And then we need to, somewhere in between all of that, Jim, plan a trip to Silver Lake Sand Dunes so we could either bring some razors out. You know what we should do? That would be awesome. We should meet at Polaris headquarters, pick up some razors, drive them all the way through like the back roads, through the UP to Michigan and down to Silver Lake Sand Dunes, and then take the ferry back through Wisconsin.
That'd be so rad. We can stop at Crandon along the way, pick up our boy Keegan Kincaid, and I'm just thinking like we could make this tour day. It would be fun. It would be a ton of fun to do something like that. Take the ferry back across. What is that island? Is it Mackinac Island? Is that the one that's by Bark River?
It is.
Yes.
Well, it is. It's Mackinac. So,
Mackinac.
But the only bad thing is there's no motorized vehicle. So we'd have to drop the razors off, get on the ferry, and then ride horses. That's the only way you can get around, or a bicycle.
I have never been on a horse. That would be worth videoing, I'm sure.
Wait, you live in Arizona where they have wild horses, and there's horses all around, and you've still never been on a horse?
Never been on a horse. I've got tons of friends that own horses. Never been on a horse. True story.
Okay, yeah. I got a joke for you, Jim.
Okay.
A guy rides into town on Friday, stays 3 days, and leaves town on Friday. How is that possible?
He leaves town on Friday. I don't know. He slept the rest of the days. I don't know. I have no idea. This is one of those where I need our time segment's going to be up, and I'm going to still be thinking on it. So you're going to have to roll the answer here because I absolutely waved the white flag. Have no idea.
The horse's name is Friday. He rode in on Friday, stayed 3 days, and left on Friday.
All right. I think that is a good way to cap things off today, T-Stone. Always fun catching up with you, and we'll do it again next week.
All right. Stay tuned.
And we'll be back with more after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome a good friend of mine who I haven't seen in a long time, Cynthia Gauthier, Monster Jam driver. We got World Finals this weekend. Welcome back to the show, Cynthia.
Thank you. It's been a little while, but I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, I know it's been too long. Like I said before we went to air, I keep tabs. You send me all your newsletters and press releases, and obviously follow each other on social media. So I kind of been keeping track on what you got going. But World Finals, I guess this is the big one for you, right? This is like I guess your version of the Super Bowl or World Series. I mean, this is the biggest event you guys do every year. So you got to be pretty excited about this.
Exactly, and they just announced that I qualified, so I was not sure until last week that I made it. It was a good year for me. It was my first year doing stadium, so it was a lot of learning for me, but I would say it was a really good year. I could not ask for a better year for my first time in the stadium championship.
Well, and I think that's what I think a lot of fans don't get. I mean, you guys travel around the country, around the world, putting on shows and things like that. But Monster Jam, the way they do it, you come in and you don't get to do the big stadiums right away. They start you out in kind of the smaller arena shows, and you have to work your way up. So I know this is that's a big thing for Monster Jam drivers when you finally get to go stadium, right? I mean, because then it opens it up where you can do bigger tricks, bigger jumps. I mean, and you guys finally get to unleash, these trucks to what they're capable of.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because now that I've been doing stadium, I actually did a little arena this year in Colorado Springs. I feel like arena is almost harder as far as it is harder to make some cool move in such a smaller space. But it's actually, I feel like it's a different skill set. But a stadium is definitely harder to try to look different because everybody go big, everybody do those big tricks and go fast. So you really have to work really hard to make your run so much more better. And I feel like this year I improved so much. We started the season with a freestyle win, so it's kind of hard to follow with that. But I actually I got a lot of top 3 all year. I got 3 freestyle wins, so it was a really fun year. My tour, I feel like it was the most competitive. Everybody was good. It was. Everybody that I went against, I was like, oh, this is not going to be easy. Sometimes there's, driver that you feel like, okay, I got this. But every time I went against somebody, I knew it was not going to be easy. This year was a really tough tour, but a lot of fun. And I actually love running with the best. I feel like when you run with the best driver, you actually get better. You improve more.
Yeah, well, and, that being said, how is it? There's a lot you've got to learn. I've learned about Monster Jam. I mean, because you had a background, you'd raced off-road buggies before. I think done some motocross and stuff like that. But how was learning Monster Jam for you? Because obviously you knew how to slide a car sideways and things like that. But to work your way up to Monster Jam and now at the stadium shows where, like you said, you're racing against the best of the best. I mean, it takes a few years behind the wheel to kind of learn all of these tricks and the ins and outs of how these trucks work, right?
Well, what's funny about Monster Jam is it's one of the only sport that we actually want to crash. What I want to say about that is it's every sport you're trying to stay on your wheel. I mean, that it's on motocross, you try to stay on your wheel, off-road. But with Monster Jam, if you do stay on your 4-wheel, it's kind of boring. You kind of want to be on that edge of being out of control but in control. So it's kind of funny to say it, but if you stay on your 4-wheel and you jump, I mean, you're not that impressive. If you find a way that you can stay on 2 wheels a really long time and come back on your 4-wheel, it's such a different kind of racing because you kind of have to be out of control but stay calm. And I feel that's what's hard for me because in arena, you usually don't have much chance on saving the truck. Usually when you go upside down, it's hard to bring it back. But in stadium, you really have to try to stay calm but react really quickly, and that's what sometimes I say I really learned that from working out at the gym because that high intensity, you find a way to work really hard with a really high intensity, and that's what happened in the truck. I mean, the beating of my heart goes so fast when I'm upside down, and I need to try to concentrate of what can I do to save it.
Well, and I know. Like you had said when we first started talking, you didn't know. We'll talk about high jump in a minute because you're doing a couple of things at World Finals, but you didn't know if racing and freestyle you were going to be chosen. And I think that's what's really even more special about this event because here you are, you're racing stadiums and stuff like that. But how do you get chosen? I guess I ought to ask you that. I mean, what's the criteria there? Because you'd said you won freestyle earlier in the year, but you still didn't know if you were going to get picked. I mean, it's got to make you feel really good as a driver to be chosen. You're not having to qualify in nothing. I mean, you're there racing in freestyle at the World Finals. I mean, how does one get chosen? What do you have to do to make it to the big show?
the kind of hard thing. I mean, you can never make everybody happy. I mean, everybody have their favorite driver, and every driver have a different style. So what they do is every tour have a winner. We had 7 tours this year with Monster Jam, and every winner got their chance to go to our final. And after that, they usually go with who really kind of made their self out, So like for me, I'm not really a consistent driver, and that's kind of my problem. That's something I need to work on for next year. I'll have like one weekend I'm like second overall, or even first overall I had this year, but I will go to another weekend and it goes really bad. So with Monster Jam, if you want to win the series, you have to be consistent. I mean, I saw driver that they did not win any competition, but they always second on every competition, so they get the overall win. So it's kind of funny to say. I mean, you did not win the freestyle, you did not win racing, but you win the overall because of your points. You're a really consistent driver. So that's really makes the difference. So for me, something it's hard, but I still find a way to get a lot of victory in some other stuff. So I would say it's really to try to put yourself out there and try to be different. That's kind of what worked for me, and I think that's how I got my chance at the World Final with so many victory this year. But definitely next year I need to work on being consistent. My racing was not that great, and it got so much better with the season going forward. So really, I'm trying to learn, and I think that's the best. That's how you get better as a racer, is try to learn from your mistake and try to get better.
Yeah. Well, and you also got picked to do, I know this year's World Final is a little bit different. They've got the different skills competitions. You're doing high jump, and I got to tell you, like, that's where the crazies go. Like, I mean, I've seen what Todd LeDuc has done and things like that. I mean, like, how'd you get picked for that? Because, like, to me, that's just like, all right, we're going to take the craziest drivers in Monster Jam, and we're going to put them over here in the high jump competition. Like, how did you get picked for that, Cynthia?
Well, I think if they really go to your freestyle and they check whoever gets, always big hair and who's not scared to go big. So I think that's how they picked the driver, because it was hard, because it's not like we actually gained points or qualify for that. It's a group of people that were like, okay, here's this freestyle, she always go big, or this person always, is not scared. I mean, it's going to be fun because there's some of the best driver with me. I mean, Todd LeDuc always go big. So it's not going to be easy, but I think it's actually a high jump. So the fact that it's a high jump, it's actually going to be really tricky. It's going to be like how in a dirt bike you do like seat bounce. And so it's going to be really tricky. I think it's going to be a lot of setting with your truck and try to make it so your truck can actually jump really high but can actually land it, because I don't think it's going to count if you don't land it, because everybody can go really high, but you need to have the four-wheel coming back in one piece.
Well, that's got me excited for that, because I'm really excited, especially for you being in it. But I got to ask you, going into this year, I know you've been in the same truck for the past couple of years. What the heck happened this year? They turned your truck blue. I saw it and I went, whoa, what is Cynthia driving here? And then, they're calling it like ice or something. But explain that, because all of a sudden everybody's seen you kind of in Monster Mutt the past couple of years. Now it's all of a sudden blue.
Yeah, so this year it's kind of fun because I like change. They did the fire and ice, so each tour had a fire and ice truck. So you actually keep the same identity, but they actually changed the color and had some little stuff to the truck. So mine became blue, and it was a great fit because I'm from Canada. So the freezing, so it was a perfect fit for me. So I like the color. I mean, the reaction from the people were awesome. People really want to keep those color in the sport. So hopefully we can keep more than a year, but I love it. And I think we have a show in Vegas called the All-Star. I think we're going to play kind of like a team ice against fire. So that's going to be interesting. I don't have much detail about it, but I know it's kind of like a friendly competition. That's how I call it, because this year I was against some men. So, outside the track, we're a really good friend and stuff. But on the track, I definitely want to prove that Team Ice was better. So it was a really friendly competition on my side.
Well, and I've got to ask. You mentioned being from Canada. I know that Monster Jam does do quite a few shows up there in Canada. You had the opportunity to be on one of the tours that goes in Canada yet? And if you did, like, I got to think you got to be like the fan favorite, right?
I would say it's kind of funny because the fans don't really know sometimes that I'm Canadian. I try to promote it as much as I can. For me, I'm like, feel like home everywhere I go in Canada. But I would say that even if fans kind of love the fact that you're Canadian, they're actually pretty good on judging really fairly because it's actually the fans judging with their phone. So I feel like it's been pretty good lately. The fans are really fair, and I never feel like somebody should have won more than the other. But actually, I'm going to Toronto in June, so it's going to be a really fun experience for me because I think it's the first time Monster Jam go to this arena. So it's always good. It's going to be the closest show from home, so hopefully I can have some family come up there and kind of show, maybe try to get some wins for all my Canadian fans.
Yeah. Well, and I laugh because I went on the Monster Jam site this morning before we did this interview, and they ask you a bunch of questions, fun facts and everything. And it says, what's your favorite thing to eat? And you put poutine. I go, well, she's Canadian. But then it says chocolate and poutine. And I'm going, don't tell me you mix chocolate and poutine, right? That's separate. You like chocolate, you like poutine? Or is this something new you're starting? I was like, I got to ask her this.
No, I don't mix it. I mean, it would probably be a weird taste. But
actually,
chocolate is always good. When I'm on a bad mood, just give me chocolate and my smile will come back.
Well, I got to ask. So, poutine, I know there's got to be some place in Canada that's your favorite, right? That they just make their poutine just a little bit better than everywhere else. Is there like this one special spot where you've got to go when you're back home? Like, I got to go and get it here?
Yeah, I mean, I would say in all Canada, Quebec have the best. I mean, I feel like it's so much French because it's French fries. So, you know what I mean? It's really French. But I would say the most greasy place you can find, you know, the most like redneck little shack you can find that would have the most greasy French fries will make the best poutine. I mean, it's kind of like, don't expect to eat healthy when you eat a poutine, but like it has to be really greasy, and that's what makes the best of it. So that's what I would suggest. Don't go to a fancy restaurant and ask a poutine.
Yeah, go to the little shack, and that's where you're going to get the really good stuff, right?
Exactly.
Nice. Well, it is always fun catching up, Cynthia. I know I will be tuned in to World Finals. Good luck in high jump and in I guess in the racing and freestyle. Looking forward to seeing how you do, and hopefully we can have you back on like next week as like the Monster Jam World Finals winner, right?
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, I'm definitely going for it, and I would say this year I really believe I can win. I win so much, self-confidence this year, and I know I can do it. I know I have the skill, I have the crew, my truck's ready, so let's do it, and hopefully I can come back and definitely talk about that win.
All right, thanks a lot, Cynthia. And we'll be back with more after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UGV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, and we're here to wrap things up on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Big thanks to all my guests this week, Cynthia Gauthier, Tiffany Stone, Napa Ron Cap, CJ Hutchins, and thanks to all you guys for tuning in and keeping us rolling here, almost 400 episodes deep into this thing. But, yeah, man, like I said before, I will be out at the Indy Grand Prix this weekend at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If you guys are, in the area, going to be out there, please hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at JimBeaver15. I will be truthful with you. I check Twitter and Instagram probably a little more frequently than Facebook. Facebook, we get so many followers, bananas. It's hard to keep up with like all the feeds and tags and questions and stuff like that. So the other two platforms probably a little bit better for that. But yeah, hit me up at JimBeaver15 if you're going to be out there. I'd love to hear from you guys. We'll be doing some interviews and stuff that will get cycled into the shows the next couple of weeks. Make sure to check out Project Action. I've got Jonathan Coyle this week. Off-Road Edition will be dropping tomorrow as well. So lots of good stuff coming at you guys content-wise through the channels, plus the website. Check it out, downanddirtyshow.com. We'll be punching out all kinds of live content from Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend. Big thanks to Polaris Razor, General Tire, 4-Wheel Parts, MyMedic. Don't forget, check out mymedic.com. Use that code JimBeaver for 15% off. Vision Wheel, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish. It's at JB Dirtfish for 15% off at Dirtfish. MotoShield Pro, Blue Water Resort and Casino, Wakeboard Island is open. So definitely check it out, man. Lots of good stuff happening at the casino. I know they got some big MMA fights coming up here in about a week and a half. So if you're in the Western Arizona area and you want to watch some MMA, head over to Blue Water Casino. Check it out. So we are going to sign off for this week. Thanks to all of you for tuning in, and make sure and go over to iTunes, hit the subscribe button, follow me at JimBeaver15 on social media. Have a great week. We'll see you next time right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.